Lawsuit was about her having a negative effect on my children. That's what that lawsuit was about. And when her behavior and the things she did and said began to affect my sons, that's when I opened my mouth.
You feel broken about what's going on today?
I feel broken, I feel hurt, and again, I had to go to God. I always resort to go back to God because I had to ask God, why? The abuse that has happened to my grandchildren, the things that has happened.
Now be ready because I have some incredible news that will leave you feeling shaken. Siohvaughn Funches, Dwayne Wade's ex-wife and the mother of his first two children, has just joined the group chat and is spitting tea on Gabrielle and him. And it's completely insane, I promise. Siohvaughn now presented strong proof to back up her allegation that Gabrielle encouraged her daughter, Zaya, to undergo a gender transformation, all in the name of profit. Folks, she didn't hold back. Siohvaughn confronted Gabrielle head-on for manipulating Zaya and keeping her away from her biological mother. There's a ton of drama developing, and I promised to show you all every amazing detail. Zaya, who was born a boy, remarked,
Dwyane born as a boy, came home and said, hey, so I want to talk to you guys. I think going forward, I'm ready to live my truth. And I want to be referenced as she and her. I would love for you guys to call me Zaya.
So it's easy to get lost in all the updates on this whole Gabrielle Union vs. Dwayne Wade story. I promise there have been a ton of them. In case you missed the tea, Dwayne and Gabrielle are no longer together, following yet another adultery incident. According to a recent report from the gossip blog Dwyane, Dwayne is very close to a woman, not Gabrielle, as stated by Dwyane. During the 2 hours I was there, he was seen approaching her closely and having a very private conversation with her. On Instagram, Gabrielle has some fascinating posts as well. Only evolution can take place in the presence of clarity, youth, and honesty. Gabrielle just shared a photo of their daughter on Snapchat. For her tranquility, I will stop at nothing. They said, I've received a message from someone else saying that Dwayne prefers to pose with the kids rather than Gabrielle. Gabrielle hasn't posted any pictures of their other children, only their daughter. They will resemble Will and Jada, according to a source. If they do split up, they'll keep it quiet and have different lives, but if needed, they'll maintain their unity for years at a time. This has completely exposed the drama. Dwayne is on the disabled list, according to an insider, and Gabrielle has been taking care of his beard. Given that Jaguar Reese spilled the beans the previous year,
They ain't doing as much, I guess, now because they're getting older. I guess it just moved over to the Wade house.
Energy transfers.
And I'm not saying that because of their trans daughter. I'm saying that because of the artist that I just spoke to not that long ago that got invited to a party at their house. Everything was cool up front till they went to the back and there was a bunch of old and young boys back there, all ass naked in the Wade house.
let's discuss the pretty complicated accusations that Siohvaughn Funches, the ex-wife of Dwayne Wade, is making, particularly with regard to Gabrielle. There's been a lot of discussion about Zaya's future, now that Gabrielle won't be in her life on a regular basis. Ever since we learned of Dwayne and Gabrielle's breakup, Zaya and Gabrielle have always been quite close, so people have been concerned about how she will handle everything, especially because she is going through a very public metamorphosis and millions of people are following her every step. Naturally, there have been many opinions on the subject, but Siohvaughn claims that Zaya's original circumstances sprang from Gabrielle's supposed pressure to change her identity. What happens next? Now, Siohvaughn claims that Gabrielle resorted to Zaya because she wanted the attention that comes with having a child who identifies as LGBTQ but didn't want to put her own daughter in the spotlight. Furthermore, according to Siohvaughn, Gabrielle started gently coercing Zaya, sowing doubtful tiny seeds in her mind, till she came to believe that she actually wanted to identify as a trans woman. This is because Kavya is still relatively young and doesn't fully comprehend all this stuff regarding gender identity. Alright, so as not to offend anyone, but I must share with you all what Siohvaughn is saying on the entire matter. Dwayne claims that Zaya, nevertheless, has always known in her heart that she was destined to be a girl, and when she thought the time was right, She openly talked about it. At the beginning, Zaya was the one who sat down with the family and said,
She was the one who sat down with us as a family and said, hey, I don't think I'm gay, right? I identify myself as a young lady, but she's known that for 9 years.
She's known since she was 3.
She's known since she was 3 years old.
Let's now discuss Siohvaugh's perspective on the matter. She is adamant that Dwayne and Gabrielle are fabricating information to conceal the truth. In order to get attention and notoriety, she claims they are pressuring Zaya into something she may not actually want. Siohvaughn even went so far as to speculate that Dwayne might be achieving a personal goal or living vicariously through Zaya. Not to be forgotten are the Dwayne rumors over the last few weeks. I mean, he came clean about having once engaged in transvestism. So, like, was Dwayne always secretly hoping to be a trans woman? Is this why he's pushing Zaya to be someone she's not physiologically?
Me and my wife looked at each other, right? And the reason we looked at each other is because of this, as kids, I used to put on heels. I used to do all those things. I try to put on whatever my sisters wear. When all my sisters did, I try to do those things.
If this is accurate, do you want to know what the most problematic aspect of it all is for you all? Siohvaughn revealed some shocking details regarding how Dwayne and Gabrielle kept her apart from Zaya during the entire situation. She said that Gabrielle went to tremendous measures to keep Siohvaughn from ever seeing Zaya, and that she was so consumed with becoming Zaya's mother that she stopped Dwayne from co-parenting with Siohvaughn. Siobhan, however, had even more tea to spill when it came to the revelation that not only did Gabrielle cheat on Dwayne during their marriage, but she also made a significant effort to keep Siohvaughn apart from her own kids. In the process, Siohvaughn was represented as the insane, envious, and poisonous ex-wife, who is also a terrible mother, while Gabrielle presented herself as the ideal stepmother. Zaya was therefore effectively cut off from her true mother, Siohvaughn, during the time she was going through the process of coming out to her friends and family. Now, all of you recall that awkward exchange from last year or early this year, when Dwayne made it known that he was going to change Zaya's name and gender on all official records. See, this must be the new way of parenting. I guess I have to address these allegations here, which is a shame. Dwayne stated in his statement, I just saw on social media that I'm making our 15-year-old daughter become someone she's not and do things against her will. These are damaging and grave accusations that have harmed our kids. None of this would ever make Zaya or any of our kids do anything against their will, much less force them to adopt a certain persona. For my family, and especially not for Zaya, this isn't a game. This time, I'm not going to sit idly by and let her make light of my commitment to my family. Allow me to explain everything to you now. Siohvaughn wasn't entirely opposed to Zaya accepting her identity as a transgender person. She supported Zaya's journey wholeheartedly, but her argument was clear-cut. When Zaya is mature enough to understand and make her own judgments without Gabrielle and Dwayne's influence, let her make these important life decisions. It appears that Siohvaughn has no problem with Zaya's gender identification or sexual orientation. Rather, she only requested that the legal procedures be postponed until Zaya was 18. What's the rush, really? She couldn't legally sign anything without her parents' permission. However, there's more to this tale since Siohvaughn was not happy with Gabrielle's approach to it. She believed that Gabrielle's fixation with publicity was the main factor. Even for adults, going through a gender transition is a highly private and frequently unpleasant process, and it gets much more problematic when it's happening in the public view. Siohvaughn wanted Zaya to go through this process in privacy because she knew this. Siohvaughn asserts that Dwayne and Gabrielle had distinct goals. Nevertheless, they seem to be taking advantage of the circumstances to garner as much attention as possible. And let's be honest, Zaya has received a ton of abuse from people online since her public debut, which is absurd considering that she is only 15. Anybody would find it overwhelming, much less a teenager. However, according to Siohvaughn, they are in a position to benefit from the underage child's name and gender change with a number of businesses through connections and marketing opportunities, such as agreements with Disney. I worry that they might be putting pressure on our child to proceed with the name and gender change, so they can take advantage of the money opportunities he has been given by businesses. She went on to say that because of the gender issue and name, they plan to make our child extremely famous. They also told me that there would be contracts and endorsements involved, Zion, who was present at the moment, responded that Disney was a potential company and that other companies were also interested. Not only that, but a number of celebrities have also voiced their opinions regarding the same issue. For example, rapper Boosie called Dwayne out for using Zion as a political prop.
Say something about this shit, bro. Dwayne Wade, you gone too fucking far, dog. That is a male. A 12-year-old. At 12, they don't even know what their next meal gonna be. They don't have shit figured out yet.
Then, accusing Dwayne of attempting to sever Zaya's, you know what, Boosie pleaded with him not to because Zaya was still very young and would eventually grow up and fall in love.
He might meet a woman, anything, at 16 and fall in love with her. But his be gone. How you gon'... Like, bruh, you going too far, dog. Don't cut his off, bruh. Like, bruh, for real. If he gonna be gay, let him be gay. But don't cut his off, bruh.
Gabrielle responded with a clap, telling him to shut up about her family and mind his own business.
It's almost like thou doth protest too much, little booze.
I'm a look.
You got a lot of on your mind.
Fans are praising Gabrielle for being the ideal stepmother and stating that Zaya is very fortunate to have her on her side. Gabrielle has freely acknowledged the endless stories about her close relationship with Zaya. I'm fortunate to have Zaya as my bonus daughter. That's all very sweet and heartfelt. But have you noticed that Gabrielle hasn't been talking about Zaya much lately? As I previously stated, it appears that her and Dwayne's marriage has reached a difficult stage, and they are reportedly no longer together. Unfortunately, it appears as though Gabrielle is taking less of an interest in Zaya's acting, making it look as though she could be caught in the crossfire. You know that this one is making waves in the streets, too, because people have been commenting on it with statements like, I really felt that Gabrielle had a lot to do with his transition, and sometimes the child looks so miserable while standing with them. Gabrielle never seems pleased because she exudes such darkness and evil. She even began to appear really strange and dark. Someone else said, I never liked how Gabrielle got involved in the decisions that another woman and man made for their child. Zion is handled by Dwayne and his ex. Siohvaughn had a point. He ought to have at least waited till he reached adulthood because he was too young to make such a big decision. In order to gain favor, Gabrielle paraded her trans stepchild around on television with such fervor. And I think the reason Dwayne was so supportive of his son's decision to transition to a female was that, deep down, he wished he had been able to do that for himself at that age. I know this is all insane, but what are your thoughts on Siohvaughn's accusations and all of this? Do you believe that her claims that Zaya has been duped are true? Or do you believe that, on top of everything else that Dwayne and Gabrielle are dealing with at the moment, she's just a resentful ex who's attempting to cause them additional trouble? Gabrielle, in addition to everything else that is going on at the moment. After viewing this following video, please let us know what you think and leave a comment below.